Dark Cloud 2, which is known as Dark Chronicle in other regions outside the US, was developed by Level 5 and was published by Sony. The game is a bit of a turning point for Level 5 in terms of their video game's visuals. Upon the game's release, it was very well received by critics due to the improvements of the gameplay from the first game. But what do I think of the game? Is it good, bad, or just meh? The game's story starts off divided between two characters, Monica and Maximilian. Monica's story starts off with her father being killed and her escape in a castle. Maximilian's story starts off with him wanting to go to a circus. Max manages to get in, but he soon runs into trouble and gets chased because of a stone around his neck. Monica helps Max get out of trouble and informs him about the current state of the world. It turns out that Monica is from the future, and she managed to travel to the past with the use of her own stone. And it turns out Max's stone allows him to time travel as well. Monica traveled to the past because the future is in danger because of a man named Griffin. Griffin has been able to attack the world by attacking the past. So Monica asks for Max's help in restoring the areas in his time period in order to make a better future. The story is rather simple, which I'm okay with as I found the side stories to be actually more interesting. Max and Monica aren't too complex in terms of the character, but they are quite positive and likable. Monica stands out more because she is a more proactive character with agreeable goals. There are some likable and colorful side characters, and even some characters from the original game who all help make the game an enjoyable experience. Dark Cloud 2 is very similar to the gameplay of the first game, as it is also a dungeon crawler with some town building. However, there are some differences. First, let's start off with the dungeon crawler aspect. The things that are the same would be being able to open chests, having a map in the dungeons, weapons losing durability when used and will break if they lose too much, characters will get thirsty except now you can't see how much longer it will be before they get thirsty, and you still have to kill a monster in order to get a key that lets you go on to the next floor, and the lock-on is still a bit awkward. Here are some differences. Now you can only change between Max and Monica, who each have two weapons to choose from, a close combat weapon and a long-range weapon. Using the long-range weapon is kinda awkward in its controls. However, the weapon variety is nice, along with the monsters being weak to certain weapons, causing you to switch between characters often, with the exception of floors that prevent you from being able to switch characters. Weapons upgrade differently now as well. Blue orbs that are dropped after defeating a monster will level up your weapons. As weapons level up, they can synthesize with more spectrumized items. Almost all the items in the game can be spectrumized for a weapon, with items increasing different weapon stats. And once again, by increasing certain stats, weapons can be upgraded into all new weapons. Max and Monica also have another way to fight. Max can ride a robot that can be customized and upgraded, while Monica can transform into different monsters, allowing her to fight and talk to monsters. You can also pick up monsters and items, however, I rarely found this to be very necessary. You will also have to find a geostone in certain dungeon floors, as geostones allow you to make new objects in the town building section. Now let's move on to the town building, as you will do this quite often in a few areas. Now you actually have to build objects before you can place them in the town. You will have to make sure you have enough materials like wood, stone, or glass in order to make objects, and these materials can be obtained in dungeons or bought from the gnome in the back of your train. You will be able to make houses, trees, fences, and so much more, along with being able to paint certain objects. However, in each area you will have to fulfill certain objectives that will help you progress the story. Every time you fulfill an objective, you can travel to the future to progress the game and look for red chests that will often give you items that increase defense and health for Max and Monica. Different towns, both in their past and future, have stores that you can buy items from that repair weapons, heal your characters, and even new weapons to buy. However, only certain towns sell certain items you may need, which can get frustrating if you forget where you need to go in order to buy a certain item. The town of Palm Bricks cannot be altered. However, if you talk to certain people, you can actually move them to other towns, but first you will have to fulfill certain objectives that they will give you to do. These people can also join you in dungeons, and by doing so, they grant Max and Monica special skills. There are also tons of side quests in the game, like fishing and fulfilling special challenges on dungeon floors. You can also go around taking photos to get scoops, which helps increase your photography level. You can also event new items, but first you will have to find lists of objects that you'll need to take pictures of, then take those pictures of the objects and use the photos to invent new items. Then create the new item as long as you have enough materials to do so. And then there's also Svita. Svita is a golf minigame that you can play after you've killed all the monsters on a dungeon floor. It's kind of an awkward minigame that's frustrating because you have to have the ball to be the opposite color of the portal in order for the ball to go into the portal. In terms of the visuals, it's very good and it's quite a step up from the first game. Character models are very well detailed and have some great animation. The cell shading really helps make areas pop out in both great detail and wonderful color. Now the day and night cycle affects both towns and dungeons, which really helps create some nice atmosphere. The music is also very good, however I don't find many of the tunes to be very memorable. All in all, there are some changes made that I really like. The variety of combat is quite nice and you will find yourself spending hours upgrading weapons and Max's robot along with Monica's transformations. It's also nice to have so much variety in town building, and I really enjoy moving people to different towns. Plus, the ability to go back and forth between the past and the present is great, as seeing how your actions are helping the future is very encouraging. The game is quite difficult, in fact it's much harder than the first, and most of the side quests don't really interest me too much. Dark Cloud 2 is a good game. It's a sequel that mostly makes changes that improve upon the original format, while adding some new things as well. If you enjoyed the first Dark Cloud, then you should definitely give this game a try, as it's a great blend of dungeon crawler RPG and town building games. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I also hope you found it to be reasonably informative. If you'd like to see more of my videos, please check out my channel and subscribe if you'd like. If there's a certain PS2 game you'd like to see me cover sometime in the future, then please leave a suggestion down below. I'm MCB, the PS2 Gamer, and I'll see you guys next time.